Welcome to Rock Your Talk with Leisa Reid. I am excited to have our guest here, RJ Jackson. Welcome, RJ.
Thank you, Lisa. It's great to be here.
A little bit about me and our show. I'm the founder of Get Speaking Gigs Now. I help people, I coach speakers on how to get booked, stay booked, attract their clients through speaking. I am also honored to be a trainer and speaker for Productive Learning, productivelearning.com, where we help people literally understand themselves on a deeper level so that when they get triggered in the moment, they can shift accordingly, make conscious choices, and move towards their conscious vision and compelling vision in their life to get more of what they want. So that's some pretty exciting things that I've been working on. And for Rock Your Talk, I love to bring experts like RJ on to share 3 really cool tips with you depending on their expertise. And RJ Jackson is someone I had the pleasure of meeting through the phone a couple years back, and we have since become friends and colleagues, and I've seen her speak. She's incredible. Her heart is huge, and I'm just thrilled that she's on the show today. So RJ, tell the audience a little bit about you, my friend.
Oh, thank you, Lisa. First, let me tell you the honor really is all mine. And thank you for calling me friend. I am totally honored. So I'm glad to be here today to encourage your listeners and your viewers' heart, to remind them that there's greatness inside of them. And as a professional speaker, as well as a personal development influencer, that's what I get to do every day when I wake up, is to remind people to live life from the inside out, because the world awaits their greatness, and there's greatness inside of them. So that's really who I am in a nutshell, doing what I love, loving what I do.
That's
It don't
right.
get no better than that.
And RJ is known as, if you've seen any of her, RJ Jackson's social media, she is the courage giver, and she holds that torch very consistently. And I have seen her give courage to me and to a whole audience of people. So she is the courage giver. And I think, RJ, you're going to be talking about some tips on how to find your courage and what do you do with courage and how do you, all these things. So I'm super excited to hear your first tip that you have for our listeners today.
So my first tip would be, no matter what you do, choose courage. Mm-hmm. Courage is the most important virtue that we own and that we can use. So we can't do anything else literally without courage. And courage is being afraid, but doing it. Just stepping in, just pressing in, just putting both feet in the water and saying, I'm going to try. And nothing beats a failure but a try. So
right.
First
yeah.
tip.
Yeah. Sorry, I love that.
Choose courage.
Choose
No,
courage.
that's okay. First tip, choose courage.
Yeah, because I think anytime you try something new, even though you want it, right? Like you might internally like, oh, I really want to do this thing. I want to write a book or be a speaker or I'm single and I want to be in a relationship, whatever that new thing is. Anytime you do something new, it will take courage. And now there's, baby steps of courage and, big, massive steps of courage. But I love that prompt, because it's like this internal, super quiet voice can keep us, even though we may be courageous in one area, it can keep us safe, right? What we think is safe and the same. And so courage, in hearing you, it sounds like it's like the courage to believe that you can have that thing that you want, or that try that new thing, go after your dreams, It does take courage to do that. Absolutely does.
Absolutely.
And I know you have other tips up your sleeve too. What is another tip that you have for us about courage or how to go after your dreams?
Awesome. So with tip number 1 being choose courage, tip number 2 is choose quickly and choose to be different. So they go hand in hand. So when we choose courage, we're actually remembering, as I shared, doing something we're kind of afraid to do, but saying, I'm going to try it anyway. And so when we choose courage and we choose quickly, we eliminate the, well, should I? Well, what if? well, I don't know. Well, what will people think of me? When we choose quickly, we don't have time to think of those dramatic things that keep us from living our life from the inside out of our greatness. But we make a decision and then we go with it. And in making that decision, Lisa, we're not afraid to be different.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so important. You see, courage is the opposite of conforming. And most people conform, they want to do what everybody else is doing. Anybody can do that.
Mm-hmm.
It takes courage to be different. So, tip number 2, choose quickly and choose to be different.
I love that because, you know, we, a lot of times I have this phrase, I heard it somewhere and I just loved it, but it's called comparasitis, where like we think we suffer from this disease called comparasitis, right? Like, well, I'm not as good as this person. Well, I don't have, you know, whatever they have. Well, I'm not as smart as, I'm not as whatever as, I don't, what, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And that can keep, I think, in what you're talking about in terms of moving quickly, you could suffer from that for a very long time. You could be spending a lot of time in that space of like, well, you know, mine's not going to be as good or whatever. And we're like waiting for this memo to come in the mail that, you know, you're ready. And
When
I
you
was
were
doing,
born ready.
that's right. It's like, if you dream it, you could have it, right? I think if it came into your mind, then it was meant for you to hear that and to go for it. But yes, you gotta, at one point, act. I had a gal was asking me, she said, well, when are people gonna know that I'm who, how do I know that they're gonna know who I am? You know, why would they want me as a speaker if they don't know who I am? I said, you need to start somewhere. You got to start. You just have to start. You're right. Maybe no one knows you right now, but no one's gonna know you if you're thinking about who knows me. You gotta get out there.
That's
Do
right.
it. I love it.
Make a decision quickly.
Yes.
And when we choose courage, I heard you say earlier, it's about believing. And I just want to add to that because really it's more than believing. Because I believe I can fly an airplane. And if I just keep saying I believe, but I don't get up in the cockpit, what's
Right.
the point of me believing?
Right. Right.
We have to make that decision to take action. And that's when our courage shows up. And that's why choosing quickly is so important before you talk yourself out of it.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, because it's like you could have a match and a piece of wood, but to separately, you're not gonna have a fire for very long. You know, that match is eventually gonna it's gonna die. So, or that spark is
Yeah.
gonna die. Oh, I love that. Cool. Okay. What's your third tip for us?
So since we're talking about courage, because I'm the courage giver,
That's right. You are.
and it is my goal and my role to encourage your heart to live your life from the inside out and live out of your greatness. Number 1, again, was to make sure that we choose courage. Number 2 was to choose quickly and choose to be different. And number 3 is to choose gratitude.
Mm.
Gratitude is an attitude. So some people say, but I say gratitude must be a lifestyle. It must be who you are from the inside out. Because when we choose gratitude, what that does is it helps us focus on what's important and what's good. You see, you look at me, I have on some extra glasses here, right? And so you would think these glasses help me see something differently. That's what gratitude does. It helps you see differently. No matter what you're going through, no matter what's going on in your life, you can see differently. And Lisa, as you know, I am still recovering from a major car accident that happened about 4 years ago. Unable to talk, unable to walk, had a brain injury. But even in the midst of that, I continue to look for the good with an attitude of gratitude. And I'll tell you one thing that came out of that for me is my dad had not been able to come out and visit me for a couple of years. And I was used to seeing him every year, maybe twice or three times a year. Well, he said, he told his doctor, I'm going. That's my baby girl. I am going. You figure out that oxygen because I am going. And so I did get to see my dad, and that meant the world to me, even though at the time I literally couldn't walk. I hadn't been given a wheelchair yet. I was still in the bed. I was so happy to have my dad with me. Gratitude, lifestyle, it changes everything. And life is about perception.
Yes, a gratitude lifestyle. I love that. We had, I had the opportunity to take a workshop called, with Productive Learning, we do something called a year long. And we had a whole year where we focused on living in appreciation, which is, you know, similar to gratitude. And a lot of times I think, so I'm so appreciative of what you're bringing up, because a lot of times I think people think, oh, well, you know, I write a gratitude, you know, I write my gratitude journal every day. Well, I mean, I also did that. I did that for 3 years, you know, every single day. And it's so, I think what you're talking about, and certainly what we learned in our workshop, it's not, there's depth to our gratitude, and there's a habituation that we can have with our gratitude. And that's what I think you're talking about. It's not just like, oh, I'm grateful for, you know, the sun shining, or I'm grateful I'm alive. It's like, how can you see when you're in the depths of pain and despair and have things happen that you're not asking for show up, and then still your reaction could be gratitude. Like, we have a choice to respond in gratitude and to embody that and choose it. That's a conscious choice. And I think that's what you're saying, right? It's like, it's just, how am I going to see the world in this different light versus just being grateful for the things that you have, right? It's like, oh, it's just deeper than that. It's like in your bones. That's beautiful.
It's not about doing. It's not about what we do. It's not about writing in our journal. It's not about smiling because we see the sun. It's about being.
Yes. Yeah.
Human beings.
Yes.
And because we are human beings, we have to be intentional about gratitude. We have to know from the inside out, this is really who I am. I'm not forcing myself to write something down. I'm living what I'm feeling.
Right.
And I can smile in spite of the pain. I don't have to fake it till I make it. I just have gratitude, because no matter what, the truth of the matter is, it could be worse.
That's right. That's right.
I could have died in that accident.
Yeah.
So walking was a miracle for me. And I was happy to be able to do that, even though I couldn't walk. I saw possibility because I was grateful that I didn't die.
Yes. Yes. And so it sounds like you just like have that full acceptance of whatever I'm given, whatever shows up. Here's how I'm going to see the world. Here's how I'm going to respond. Here's how I'm going to feel, and bringing that feeling of gratitude, and the experience of that is possible, which I want to give hope for our listeners, because I think a lot of times people think, oh, well, I'm grateful for things, but there is a shift, and it can take some work in terms of like, well, if you haven't been living in that way and you don't maybe understand what we're talking about, it's like, okay, so again, back to the thing of starting, making that decision quickly, like what you're saying, being conscious about it and saying, okay, well, how could I live that way? What would I need to do? Or who do I want to be? How could I have something happen to me that isn't what I want, but I could feel genuine gratitude, be gratitude in that moment? And I think that's, if I'm hearing you, it's like, that's possible for everybody. That's possible.
Absolutely. And it's really about taking one step at a time, one moment at a time. It's about letting go of the past so that you don't beat yourself up, not looking too far ahead in the future so that you feel hopeless, but living in the moment. And in that moment, being intentional. So even when you catch yourself, for example, complaining, you say, no, that's not where I want to go. That's not how I want to live. So let me look for something that I can be grateful. So yes, you will start off telling yourself why you need to be grateful, what you can be grateful for, looking for opportunities to be grateful, and then it will become natural.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because
just like anything, right? Any
yes,
new way of being, like, if you want to eat healthy, like, okay, well, cutting certain things out, adding certain things in, getting used to
yes,
the, what do I need to shop for? All those things. It's like you're starting to try on a new outfit is why I say, yeah, try something new on and see how it feels.
yes. And that
Uh,
all, Lisa, starts with courage,
yeah.
because courage produces gratitude and gratitude produces joy. So that even when you're going through the worst of the worst, from the inside out, you still feel good because you know there's something good in no matter what happens.
Love
And you
it.
can actually see
There you go. See, I have my glasses too.
it.
How can people get a hold of you, RJ Jackson?
That's a great question because I'd love to connect with you and encourage your heart. And you can connect with me. And the key word here is connect. You can connect with me anywhere online, website, social media, at The Courage Giver. So you can
A
find me on
courage
my
giver.
website at thecouragegiver.com, on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, at The Courage Giver. And it'd be my pleasure to connect with you.
Love it. And then I want to encourage any of you listeners to drop in your tips and keep this conversation going. Ask us a question. Ask RJ a question. How did she overcome the things that she's had to overcome and learn to thrive again? All the, we welcome your comments. I have one last question for you, Miss Jackson, and that is, this show's called Rock Your Talk. So I happen to be a huge music lover. I don't know, we've never really talked about music, but I know you like to dance and sing and have fun. So I bet you have a favorite singer, whether it's rock or not. Maybe you have a favorite singer or band, some favorite. What brings you joy when you listen to it? What kind of music do you like?
I love anything that's gospel, contemporary Christian, inspiration, oldies but goodies. Actually, I love music, any kind of music.
Oh, that's so great.
So there you have it. I don't really know people's names. I just love music.
You feel the beat. You feel the
Oh,
beat.
listen,
I
I love
love it.
music so much that whenever we're like doing either a virtual webinar or in person, I always play one of my favorite games where I throw a word out and people have to think of a song that goes with that word and then sing it. And we have so much
Oh,
fun.
I love that idea.
We have so much fun.
I like that. Very
Yeah.
creative, very fun. Well, that's so cool. Yeah, I was thinking about that question. I'm like, I can't wait to hear what RJ says because we haven't actually talked about music, but I know you love music. So I thought, yeah, I'm same thing. I love rock, but I love disco and Elvis and classics and all kinds of hip hop and R&B, jazz, I like a lot of
Yes.
different music. So
Yes.
very fun. Okay,
Now,
cool. We'll have a dance party soon.
cool. My favorite rock singer, her name is Kate Russell.
Oh, okay. I'll have to check her out. I don't think I
Kate
know who
Russell.
that is. Okay. This
And
is so
she's
cool.
local here in Southern California. She's the
What?
bomb.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, Kate Russell, if you're listening,
Yeah.
drop your website in there. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure. Oh, well, anyway, I mean, you can. Yeah, don't worry, Kate. We'll put it on there for you. I'm gonna look her up. I'm so excited. Well, thank you for being on our show. Thank you everybody for listening, and we will see you soon. Meanwhile, make sure to do something kind for yourself and for somebody else too. Okay? We'll see you soon.